So let's talk about ranked. The season just ended for me. Today I finally got rank 1, which feels really nice, but it's more relief than happiness, really, with the way the game mode works. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Um, this is that final ranked match. It was a nice little carry, but I'm not going to focus too much on it. The positioning is really more just supporting my team, like I talked about earlier. I didn't actually communicate that much with my destroyers in this one, but I did push to support them. So, yeah, what I really want to talk about though is how to make ranked better, a more fun experience. I think one of the major problems with the game mode right now, well, is that it's not an elo system, right? That it's just a straight gain a star, lose a star game mode is super lame as far as expectations when it comes to a ranked or seemingly competitive game mode. But we all know ranked is not competitive at all. All it does is test your patience to get to rank 1, and that's it. So to make it better, I know Wargaming will never ever introduce a elo system. That's just too much work for them, I'm pretty sure. So to make it just the current game better, I think a really good way to do it would be to remove the ability to not lose a star on a loss. Currently, if you get top score on the losing team, you don't lose a star, right? And a lot of people like that because then you can play to save your star if you get a bad team. But I think it's really, really, really bad for the game. Because a lot of people just tend to play to save their star from the very beginning. And then if they happen to win, they win. I don't think very many people actually play to help their team win. I shouldn't say that, but I think there's enough people out there that just play to save their star that it makes the game mode worse. And I think by removing the ability to save a star on a loss or not lose progress on a loss would help the game a lot. That way, it's completely you win as a team, you lose as a team, and I think that would help a lot with just people playing to help their team win. And if you saw more people playing for their team, helping their team win, supporting each other, I think it'd be a more interesting game mode. I don't want it to go so far as clan battles, where it's so team driven and coordinated that it gets kind of tedious to play and almost unfun at a certain point, where all it is just doing the most optimal thing you possibly can and there's no fun involved. I think ranked could be a nice mixture, but in its current state, it just feels like a slog. You just got to get through it, you know? And I think a little bit of that comes down to people just playing for themselves and not for the team. This season was okay because it was Tier 8. Tier 8 allows for a little bit close quarters gameplay like you're seeing here. I think Tier 10 ranked is probably the worst ranked. Maybe Tier 9. Tier 9 might be even worse, potentially. Just due to some of the ships being outrageously strong. Like Missouri, like a battleship having a radar. Or multiple destroyers having smoke and radar combos. Wouldn't be terribly fun. But that said, there's no CVs at Tier 9, so there's kind of pros and cons. But I think Tier 9 or 10 are the worst tiers for ranked seasons. So a good thing was that this season was Tier 8. I just wish there was more team play and there was more reward for playing for your team. Another problem with this game, just in general, is that it rewards dealing damage too much. I find dealing damage is not as useful as good positioning and helping your team to getting a win. Obviously the damage does need to get dealt, but by only really rewarding dealing damage, you are the the game mode naturally goes towards sitting in the back, using high explosive in your cruiser like a Mines or a Cleveland or something like that, sitting behind an island and just spamming HE at a battleship until you have your 120 to 150k damage and you're just guaranteed to save your star. I don't really like that gets rewarded. I wish there was more reward for capping, more reward for spotting. I think spotting is criminally under rewarded in this game because it's so important for your team and you get no reward for it. Like there's no way to deal damage unless something is spotted, and yet that spotting is not rewarded at all. The other thing is tanking. I think getting potential damage in a battleship should be rewarded, right? Because let's be honest, that's almost what battleships are only good for at this point, since their main guns are just so inconsistent. So I think it'd be cool to reward some of that stuff. Some of the stuff that isn't just, oh, I dealt my damage, I got my fire on this ship, and I farmed my arsonist on it, you know? Still, I enjoyed this ranked season. Towards the end, I got a little more frustrated as I went on quite the loss streak where I was around 30% win rate for the last couple days. Finally today breaking through to rank 1, but it's just, it feels bad when you try and play for your team and you try and play for the win, and then, you know, you got a team that just tries to save their star. I think a few other things that could make the game a little bit more fun or a little more interesting is if they added arms race back into ranked. I think that was a really fun, unique game mode that doesn't really work that well in 12v12, but in 7 vs 7 combat, it's pretty fun. And I'd like to see it back. I'm a little sad that it wasn't a part of this, because getting those buffs to get a massive heal on a battleship is super hilarious, because then you can go in and tank for your team, or, you know, crazy concealment buffs on a destroyer. You can sneak really close to things and cap things. So I think there is opportunity for more interesting things. But if Wargaming just keep releasing the same thing over and over just a month or two later, it just feels like it just gets stale, and they're just not even trying at this point to further develop their game. Yeah, and I think a big bonus, a simple thing they could do is just allow a 2-man div into ranked. I think that would be massive in making the game feel better to play. It's a long, not terribly fun experience a lot of the time, and playing with a friend would be amazing. And they did it in ranked sprint, which is cool. And I was hoping that was just a test for regular ranked, but I guess it turns out that the sprint is all there is when it comes to playing with someone. And I understand the argument to not make it like clan battles, but I don't think two people coordinating well together would make it the same as the full team coordinating well together through voice comms and all that. I don't know. It's hard to say what would make this better, but I think some new game modes would help a lot too. Standard kind of domination style kind of gets a little old after a while, because we each, especially in this format where, you know, we're both teams are guaranteed a cap, and then we fight over the middle one, and it just is the same thing, just on a different map, There's always islands to spam over. There's always reasons to not push in. I would love some more maps that are a little less realistic, but more unique or interesting. Like, can you imagine having a ranked map where there's like 4 caps and the ships are all kind of spawned in front of each of those 4 caps based on their class. So then the DDs have to fight the DDs, the cruisers have to fight the cruisers, the battleships have to fight the battleships. And then there's like some sort of lock that opens up at once the team is done fighting, and you know, almost like a miniature fight within a fight, and like it opens up and then the rest of the ships can fight each other in the middle zone. I don't know, something to make the game a little more interesting than, oh, I'm just gonna sit at the back and wait until the game's almost over and then push in and die. And I mean, obviously I'm able to push in here in this game, but I mean, I was really forcing it. If you want to play this ranked mode optimally, you're not going to push in that far into a cap, because you're just going to die most of the time. I got pretty lucky to live here. You know, I got super lucky on a lot of these torp strikes. The CV didn't actually go after me that much until now. I don't know, I got lucky to be able to push in like this. And I did this a lot of games, and a lot of the time I just died. I would like to see more interesting close quarters game modes, you know? I think that would be really fun with ranked. And I think you could do that with 7v7. Spread people out on the map more, and kind of let them get into 1v1s or 2v2 kind of games within the bigger ranked mode. I'm not sure how it would work, obviously, but as you can see, we got Confederate, which is pretty crazy in a 7v7. To get that award, you need to damage 6 ships, and for 20% of their HP each. So, pretty cool game. And this does it, you know. And I was pretty happy at this point that we finally, that I finally ranked out. The last rank 2 to rank 1 was really, really tough. And yeah, I think the main issue I was struggling with was the lack of team support kind of thing. That was kind of the big struggle. And I think that just simple change of removing the ability to save a star on a loss, well, it would maybe punish people more who save their star a lot. I don't know. I think if you're good enough to save your star, you're good enough to support your team more to get the win, right? Like, that's kind of my perspective on it. So there you go, get rank 1. The rewards weren't actually that amazing for getting rank 1. Only 1,000 steel. The doubloons are nice reward, but I guess the steel was more broken up within each rank this time. But yeah, pretty sweet game, you know. We actually got quite a bit of secondary damage this game, despite... I'm pretty sure that's this game, despite not hitting that many shells, but a nice 2.5k base XP. Yeah, 42,000 for only 159 hits is pretty solid in my book. Usually that's not the case in a Massachusetts, so I don't know, it's weird. Some games it feels like the secondaries just deal more damage, and other games they just kind of hit the hull and don't do much. Here I'm just gonna go look at how many games. You see 116 games played, which is kind of a lot, but I don't know, not too bad. This is overall stats, so we'll go to my actual ranked season this time. And you'll see that I did end with a 64% win rate. The last couple days really brought it down. I think I was closer to 70. Coming up on rank 4 or something like that, I had a 70% win rate, but 80k damage to ships on average, which is decent for a battleship, but I don't know, battleships kind of struggle in this ranked season to have an impact on the game, because carriers and destroyers really mean the difference in this game, and even cruisers to a certain extent. But that's just kind of my thoughts after finishing ranked. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good day.